I wanted this week to talk more about rituals and routines because I'm feeling like in general people are in a slump this week. Like I'm not sure if it's because there's more conversation about the country opening up and people are anxious about that, or if it's that we've gone longer than we ever dreamed we would do of doing this, or I haven't been able to put my finger on why I think people are in more of a slump, but to me it feels like 6 weeks in, have hit like a little struggle bus this week. And so I was thinking about what could we do to help with that. And one thing that I am confident in is that routines and rituals can help a lot, because I think we've also probably started to slide in some of our structure, or we may be overdoing the structure too, but to try to feel some control. And so the reason that I brought this really ridiculous Snoopy, you can actually remove the wings, but I feel like he looks silly with this headband without the accessory of the ridiculous wings. So I left them on there. Is because my girls gave him to me several years ago when I first started working for some event, probably Valentine's Day, right after I started at the Institute. And I was like, what am I going to do with this silly Snoopy? But I started to pack him in my bag every time I travel. And so I would send them pictures with the Snoopy they gave me, like on the pillow or in the rental car or wherever. Because if you're not familiar, we do, when it's not Corona time, we travel quite a bit. Like I'm sometimes gone a couple of weeks a month. And so it became a ritual that connected us. No matter where I was, I would just send them, I'd put them in like ridiculous places and whatever. So something I've started to do in the last couple of weeks is to send them pictures of Snoopy, like in my bed, or I'll sneak into their room and put him in their bed or whatever, just to try to keep some level of just silliness and play, but also it's a ritual that we were so used to having. I mean, I have hundreds of those pictures from all the random places. And so I was thinking, like, what could people do to either maintain or create new rituals? Because good Lord, if this isn't a great time to create some rituals within family systems, we just have such a great opportunity to do that. And so I was wondering if anybody has either started that or encouraged it with families, and to hear kind of what kind of rituals you're doing. And we have some other ones. One of mine and I watch the Gilmore Girls because our relationship is very similar to a lot of the characters in there, actually. So we're watching that daily. We watch one episode a day. That's our time. Nobody else in the house wants to watch it. And then, this morning I was out trying to throw a flag with my other daughter. And so thinking about what are rituals that you can do that are both connecting, but also about just spending time together to help build connection. And then I wanted to add that as something to share specifically with families, because I was talking to a family a couple of days ago and they were completely exhausted. These are just friends of mine who are fostering, so I wanted to check in on them. And they were so exhausted from the system involvement with them during this time. So whereas when the kids are in school and we would do our weekly phone calls, that felt more supporting. Now it talks about, now they're talking about, like, I don't have another 30 minutes to sit on the phone. I've got 4 kids placed in my home. And so they were like, if during that time, instead of them saying, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? Maybe they could say, hey, here's something I learned about this week. Maybe you could go try this with each child. And so I thought, what's one thing they could do? They could go try to practice some level of ritual with each child, or you could tell them something about, like, the other things we've talked about, connecting, spending one-on-one time with each child, and those kinds of things. And so today I just wanted to bring it back to kind of rituals and routines, and then just a little bit of reminding us to remain mindful, because one of the hardest things for me about this time is feeling out of control. I don't know when I'm going to get back to my usual work. None of us do. Like, we're predicting it. I talked to Emily and I'm like, what's your husband saying? Because I know he's a logistics guy working for this company and they're trying to figure it out. And it has become a theme of conversation of how can I add control in? But really what I'm needing is more structure. And so thinking about being mindful of planning and being mindful of, why is that bothering me? Or what can I do to make this a more comfortable moment? And I think coming back to rituals and routines, and then just underlying constant mindfulness to where we are and what we have going on. So that was what I would encourage. And then Emily, I don't know if it'd be probably good to go through some of these ideas for rituals that people are doing. Dinner at the table together. Christine, I love that. And we've actually switched it to lunch
Nice.
because I'm finding I'm really tired in the evening. I don't want to cook. And so I'm doing like a bigger lunch meal, but I love that. I do love the table time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're getting to do that. Typically, my husband doesn't get home until almost 7 o'clock. So we're all home now. And so it's been great to have our meals together. Family walks with masks. Love that. Oh, sorry, this is going really fast. Amy has encouraged the parents in her class to add a silly ritual to the beginning, middle of their afternoons at home, struggling with long afternoons, trying to get adult work done when kids have finished their schoolwork and had a structured morning. That's really good to have those tent poles in the afternoon and like something to look forward to every day. You know, at 3 o'clock, mom and dad are going to close the laptop for a minute and do something fun with the kids. I love that. Renee's been doing a jigsaw puzzle with some of her kids, finding different TV series with her husband, virtual Bible study with a cousin. That's so great.
That's fun. And I think I would just encourage remembering that the ritual can be anything. It can be like, I love you more. And so each time you have that interaction, that's a ritual. So it doesn't have to be a huge thing. It could be that every morning when you wake up, you do this special high five with each individual kid, or, you know, whatever it is. So just encouraging people to remember that it doesn't have to be a huge, elaborate thing. Like it can just be, in this moment, this is what we're going to do. And so, you know, for example, it could just be that when everybody wakes up, we sit and we hang out for just 5 minutes and check on each other, and or do something silly, or we're going to play one round of Uno or Pictionary. But it should be something that connects. Remember, the ritual is part of a routine that brings connection. And so we're trying to bring people back together, as opposed to just like you said, dinner with family makes it the ritual. So just bringing connection into those moments.